pick up points, and the last two games against Leeds and Wolves, vital fixtures, they've come up trumps.
And Matt, with the players heading over, with the players heading over to the far side to salute the travelling Foxes fans, can you pick us a man of the match?
Good question. I should have been thinking about it before, shouldn't I?
I probably should have asked you before, but I'm going to have to put you on the spot now.
Well, no, I mean it's standard in the games, isn't it? So I thought there were some good performances throughout. I thought Tielemans was a bit more like himself. Got the goal, didn't he? Harvey Barnes, first half, I'd probably give him man of the match first half. Not so much the second. Fass, again, strong and resolute. Right, give me a few seconds. I'm trying to...
Well, the Leicester fans going over to the far side to applaud the Foxes fans. Over 3,000 of them here today. The first away win for them since the game at Watford at the end of last season. All as one, marching down the far side of the field. The Leicester fans stretch right along that side of the pitch from corner flag to corner flag. Some of them have seen goals at their end and some of them have seen goals at the others. Two in each half here from Tielemans, Barnes before half-time. It was 2-0 after 19 minutes. Maddison on 66, Vardy 10 minutes from time. And now, Matt Elliott is going to deliver your man of the match.
You've got plenty of time to still get it wrong. I'm going to go Youri Tielemans and mention first, actually. I thought that was one of his stronger performances of late. Obviously the goal, standout moment. But just generally, for things that he's not generally recognised for, he worked hard. He was trying to lead the team. He is a captain. The captain of Leicester City at the moment. And that was the captain's performance today from him.
There we go, Youri Tielemans with the goal of the game and the man of the match award as well. But the team has won today, worked ever so hard to protect what they had and build on it as well. Great day, Dan. It's finished here at Molineux. Wolves 0, Leicester City 4.
Yes, thank you very much, James. Fantastic victory for Leicester City. Back-to-back wins, back-to-back clean sheets. That, Jerry Taggart, is more like it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think by the end, obviously, run out easy winners. Still a few heart and mouse moments at the beginning of the second half, so much so that I had to take myself out of the room to calm myself down. But when I came back in, it was pretty obvious that Leicester were never going to let this game slip. And by the end, pretty convincing, you have to say. Another clean sheet. Jamie Vardy getting his first of the season, which I think is vitally important as well. So well done to him. Maddison, again, showing some great ability there with a third goal. So yeah, I think overall, when the players and the coaching staff go back into that dressing room, they'll be able to actually sit down, have a quick chat, and probably for the first time this season, enjoy the 3 points, enjoy the win.
Yeah, Tony Cottee joining us as well here on Matchday Live. What did you make of that? Are you as happy as we are here in the studio?
Absolutely, Dan. Yeah, first and foremost, a fantastic result. Whether it was 4-0, 1-0, 7-0, it was a fantastic result to go to Wolves. It was always going to be a difficult game, as we spoke about, because they've got good players. They sort of had a few chances, didn't they, Wolves? They didn't take them, and Leicester, quite simply, have been much, much better at taking their chances today. But to get 4 goals away from home is a fantastic confidence boost. Another clean sheet will be something that Brendan will be really, really pleased about. And it gives them lots of confidence going into what we all know is going to be a difficult game against Manchester City next weekend. It gives them a little bit of breathing space. I think I was on the Monday night show, Dan, and we were talking about the 3 games coming up. And I said I wanted Leicester to get 6 or 7 points. Well, they've just got the 7 points out of the 9. So it's a fantastic run of those 3 games. You put the 3 games together, and it's like a really good points return, 7 out of 9.
Yeah, they'll be happy, Matt Elliott, won't they? Particularly with the way the last 3 or 4 days has gone. They've been able to back up that victory against Leeds today by beating Wolves.
Yeah, it's huge doing that, isn't it? Backing things up, as you say. 2 wins on the trot, 6 points in such a short period of time, and you see the difference that it makes. Leicester, I won't say comfortably out of the relegation zone, but they're out of it. And it's not nice to talk about relegation zones, is it? And, the Forest game was excellent, but it made the defeat against Bournemouth even that more disappointing, because people were hoping that form had been changed, things had been turned round, and they hadn't. There were still issues to address, and there still are. But Leicester not totally out the woods, far from it. There's a lot of work lying ahead. But to go and get that 6 points, as you say, 7 out of 9 is keep that ratio up. Then you're talking, aren't you? But we know how it ebbs and flows throughout the season. But it's like you said, basically, it's a little bit more like it, isn't it? For sure. That sort of scoreline is going to do everyone at the club a power of good.
Yeah, and I mean, you were obviously there. You could see the scenes at full time. Just judging from the pictures that we saw here in the studio, every single one of the players went over to that away end, which is on the other side of the pitch, isn't it, to where you guys are, and clearly we're given a great ovation by those away supporters. Yeah,
and rightly so. I think by and large, Leicester, listen, there've been little grumbles. That's to be expected, isn't it? And it's more through worry and concern than anything, isn't it? But by and large, the supporters have stuck with the players. Have backed everyone. And obviously, they want things to turn around, and they stuck with the players, and the players have stuck at it or got themselves back at it, and they've backed up what they've said. And Brendan Rodgers too, as well. Says, well, we're determined to turn things around and find a way forward, and there are very strong signs that they're in the process of doing that. So I think the players wanted to make that sign of appreciation to the supporters, really, collectively. Sometimes you just get a handful, or you get people going sort of in little groups, 3s and 4s, but that was all about solidity and unity together. It was the substitutes, the backroom staff as well, all went collectively. That will be appreciated by the fans as well, I'm sure.
That's Leicester out of the bottom 3 as well, Jerry, as you can see on the right of the screen there.
Yeah, massive. I mean, that's massive. Massive psychologically, absolutely massive. And big game coming up next week, and Leicester can't afford to put, bring their foot off the pedal in any way, shape or form, but at least in the run-up now to that game against arguably the best footballing side in Europe, they can go into next week enjoying it and look forward to the game. Not only because they've won today, and they've taken 7 out of 9 as Tony rightly predicted, but in the manner of what they've done, and they can look at the league table knowing that they're out of the bottom 3, which psychologically I have to say is massive. And I don't care what anybody says. When you wake up on a Sunday morning or a Monday morning and you're at the bottom of the table, it affects you psychologically. It really does, as an individual and as a group of players. So obviously the league tables don't, well, I know there's another game later on that doesn't really affect the bottom of the league, but the lads can, as I said, go into that dressing room and actually enjoy winning a game of football in the manner in what they did, and knowing that they're not in the bottom 3.
And they know they're not a bottom 3 team anyway. Again, if you look at the right hand side of the screens there, the man of the match polls are in. You can have your say on LCFC on Twitter. Tony Cotty, do you agree with what the Blue Army have said there? They've got Youri Tielemans as their standout, just as Matt Elliott did on co-commentary.
I don't think there was a lot in it between Youri Tielemans and James Maddison. I've got to be honest. I thought there was 2 outstanding performances. I love watching James play. He's just got that real grace about him, that bit of class. He makes things happen. Wonderful goal that he scored. But I think if you're going to really push me for a decision on it, you have to go with Tielemans because of the first goal, which was, I spoke about it at half-time. Technically, such a hard skill to do, to get everything right. But he seems to do it time and time again. Different skills and different techniques. I'm thinking of the cup final goal, the Brentford goal. Unbelievable goals. Different skills each time. But the one today, technically, it's volleying the ball. It's so hard to do, and especially when you're just waiting for the ball to come to you. It was a fantastic strike, and for that reason, I've got to agree with Matt. I think Tielemans just deserves to be the man of the match.
And it was obviously a vital goal because it was the first one as well, Tony. And Leicester had been under a little bit of pressure in that opening 10 minutes. And then for Youri to do that, it just completely changed the complexion of the game.
It did. It settled everyone down, and it gave everyone the belief that that they need. It really was their first sort of foray forward. A little bit of nervousness I felt in that first 5 minutes or so. Wolves just had a couple of little half chances where they could have done better, and it didn't quite happen for them. Leicester gave the ball away a couple of times, so it was a nervy, edgy first half in general. I think quite a few mistakes, but it made for an open game of football. And of course, when Johnny fouled Harvey Barnes for the free kick that led to the goal, it changed the dynamics of that first half, I think, because obviously it gave Johnny that yellow card. He couldn't get then too tight to Harvey Barnes, and Harvey Barnes had a fantastic first half off the back of it. And of course, by giving away the free kick, that led to the Tielemans goal. And as I say, quite simply, an absolutely stunning goal. It will be in the running for the monthly goal of the month competition. I'm no doubt about that, because it's a stunning strike, and everyone should look forward to seeing it again tonight.
I'll tell you what, though, James Maddison's goal was equally as good, Tony, wasn't it? Well, maybe not quite equally as good, but it was a fantastic solo strike.
Well, it was, and the second goal was great as well. But the one thing Leicester do, and we spoke about it before the game, is in terms of their midfield players and their forward players, they've got so many options and so many skillful players, and it often leads to fantastic goals. Even the fourth goal, Jamie's goal at the end, was a really good goal made by Castagna. But the James Maddison goal, just pure class, really. Getting the ball, just manoeuvring it, and it was good play, I think, originally from Jamie Vardy. He then made a really good run that Matt picked up on. As a centre forward, I used to love making those runs, because a lot of the time you don't want the ball, you don't expect to get the ball, you make the run to just create a little bit of space for the defenders. And if Jamie maybe doesn't make that little bit of movement, it doesn't create the space for James to then go to the right. But once he's made the run, a little bit of space opens up, and just the composure as well. Again, didn't try and thrash it or smash it. He's just whipped it and curled it with pace to beat the keeper. But to beat him at the near post, you have to have that pace on the ball. But it was a stunning finish, and as I say, James can only keep doing what he's doing. We all know what's happening next month. He can only keep doing what he's doing, and surely he must have a great chance of being in the squad.
Yeah, that was the goal, really, that sort of was the final nail in the coffin, Matt, if you like, because I guess at 2-0, Wolves were still half in the game, weren't they? They were creating the odd opportunity. Had they obviously got one, things could have got a bit nervy, but James Maddison's goal really put the game beyond doubt.
They were half in the game, were they? See, that's twice you used it today, half and semi.
You're rubbing off on me, Matt.
Even when I'm not with you in the studio. But, to be fair, I thought even just before, I can say it now in hindsight, just before that, the third goal, yes, they finished it, made it done and dusted. Wolves had their surge, if you like, at the start of the second half. Leicester were inviting them on and causing a few problems of their own, really, by playing too deep. I thought they should squeeze up the pitch a bit, just not be tippy-tappying around in their own area. Wolves couldn't capitalise, and more through, I don't know, sometimes more through luck than judgment from Leicester's point of view. But they saw it through, and I think it was about, I don't know exactly when Maddison's goal was, what time, but just before that you sensed that Wolves had had enough. They thought, well, we've huffed and puffed, and we've tried to pressure them, and we've tried to force things, and they didn't really have any sort of structured creativity about their play. But they'd had a go. It hadn't worked for them, and their shoulders were sagging already. And Maddison scoring just finished them off. They just wiped them out totally, really. It was officially game over, but from all intents and purposes, the game was over before that.
Well, obviously, when we're watching here in the studio, Jerry, you don't get a sense of the bite in the game, maybe between supporters and players. But I think judging from both James Maddison's celebration and Jamie Vardy's celebration, that meant an awful lot scoring in front of those Wolves fans.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's fair to say that the pair of them might have been getting a bit of an ear bashing from the Wolves fans. And at the end of the day, anyone will tell you that's the best way to repay a little bit of stick from behind the goal. And it's a fantastic finish from Maddison, I have to say that. He's gone near post. The keeper ordinarily would have that corner of the goal covered, or would like to think he's got it covered, but the strike again from Maddison is so true. and it's a side foot. It's almost like he hits the inside, hits it on with the inside where your big toe starts almost, and it gets the extra bit of power into the shot, and the keeper has absolutely no chance. But in the build up to it, the way he just drops his shoulder, defender buys that dummy, goes the other way, gets his shot off, fantastic.
Is it similar? I don't know, Tony, if you were with us, or maybe even on co-commentary actually, for Chelsea away last season. James Maddison scored a very similar goal where he's gone in that near post area, and clearly it's something that works for him.
Yeah, it's something that he obviously practices on in training. But with his technique, he's got that natural technique where he can hit the ball both ways. Sometimes look at players and they've only really got probably one option, one way of striking the ball. But with James, he's got so many different techniques as well. There was a couple of passes outside of his right foot as well in that second half, which a lot of players can't pass the ball with the outside of his right foot. He's got all the attributes. But in terms of his finishing, I remember the goal at Chelsea. I was doing the comms, and that was a sensational goal as well. And to beat the keeper at the near post, as Jerry quite rightly says, you don't expect a goalkeeper to get beaten at the near post. And the only way they do get beat is either massive power behind the ball, like in other words, high into the roof of the net, or you've got to get the whip round and the disguise. Sometimes you also can use the defenders as well. That the defenders are blocking the keeper's view, and you can whip it round the defenders. But he's just got fantastic technique, James, and it really was a fantastic goal, and that definitely killed the game off. I possibly think that Leicester would have killed the game off at 2-0 anyway. But once that third goal went in, and everyone relaxed a little bit, and it made for a comfortable last 15-20 minutes.
Jamie Vardy obviously got that goal. I think Matt alluded, he said perfect, Tony, didn't he? Because that was the perfect day for Leicester, because it got Jamie Vardy a goal as well as the win, as well as the clean sheet.
Yeah, a typical Jamie Vardy goal as well. You've got to expect that the ball's going to come on that 6-yard box. You've got to be in there to get the goal. He was never going to miss. He doesn't. I very rarely see Jamie miss chances like that. Good play from Castagna, good strength. Had a little bit of fortune to get there in the first place. And then the defender just tried to read the fact that Castagna might cut the ball back. So the defender goes one way towards the penalty spot. And in the end, Castagna's just played the ball square. But that's easy pickings for Jamie Vardy, and loved his celebration as well. And the thing with getting a bit of stick off the opposing team, Dan, is they only boo and try and put you off if you're a good player. If you're not a good player, you don't get any songs or any stick at all. And those two, obviously, were getting a bit of stick, quite simply because Maddison's a fantastic player, and we all know what Jamie Vardy can do when he comes on the field of play.
You must have got stick wherever you played then, Tony.
I had lots of stick, Dan, loads of stick.
From his own team as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt Elliott, I imagine you would have enjoyed giving it back to away fans in similar ways like that. But Jamie Vardy, we know he's the master of that, isn't he?
I didn't get the opportunity too often, but listen, everyone knows it's foolish by now to give Jamie Vardy that criticism, because 9 times out of 10 he makes you pay for it, doesn't he? And he makes you pay doubly with the celebration as well. Yeah, howling at the Wolves supporters was quite comical, wasn't it? And he don't change, Jamie, does he? And he'll stay that way as well, because the Leicester City supporters love his input, love his character, and they love him goal scoring as well. And he's back on that trail, hopefully, now.
Yeah, how important is that, getting that first goal, Matt, do you think?
Yeah, it's big. It's big. I mean, he's probably better off speaking to Tony about centre forwards who perhaps go on a barren period. But Jamie's tried and tested, isn't he? He's proven, as was Tony, and it's only a matter of time with people like that. There might be a slight edge off his game at the moment, or perhaps permanently as a sign of time ticking by. But he's still a top quality performer, isn't he? He's not just all about outright pace. He's very clever in his movement and his timing of runs, etc., his positional play and his aggression and his ability to finish in many different ways as well. I mean, that was simple for him in Jamie Vardy terms this afternoon, but he's got a whole array in his locker, hasn't he? But this I think most people are of the the frame of mind that he's more than capable of going on a run now and scoring 7 in 10, whatever it is, or perhaps even more, because he's gone through dry periods before. He always comes out of it the other end, doesn't he? And I'm sure that'll be the case this time round.
Clearly his role maybe has changed a little bit this season, certainly in recent weeks. Daka we've seen start most of the recent away games. I know Jamie Vardy started against Leeds on Thursday, but coming off the bench like that might be what's perfect for him at the moment. Absolutely,
he's got to be managed, and Daka is showing form, good form, good returns, with goals. So it's important. You can't play Jamie Vardy every game and expect to get the best out of him over a period of a season. Now that obviously means that he's got less minutes, less time on the pitch, and that may bother him physically, mentally, whatever. But I think as the longer the season goes on and they get into that kind of rhythm, the pair of them, Daka, Vardy, Daka, then you learn how to manage that situation. And then with him getting off the mark today, then as Matt says, hopefully that will set him on, and it'll set him whether he spends 30 minutes on the pitch coming off the bench or whether he starts. It's all about fitting into that kind of. He's never had to sit on the bench before until this season. He's always been the go-to man. If he's fit, he plays. Barring the odd cup game here and there, the odd away game in Europe. For the league games, he's been a permanent fixture as regards to starting games. So this is a new thing he's got to take on board. But he still is potent. I think it's great. You see him coming off the bench and you just think, what a substitute to come off the bench and come onto the pitch and still have that presence. He will never lose that presence as long as he's playing football. His pace is still there. Matt talks about how clever he is. He's obviously gained that over the years, and obviously the celebrations are still there in the locker when he does score. So it's everyone around. That will not change. Jimmy Vardy, whether he starts or comes off the bench, will have that presence.
And he obviously cares still, doesn't he? Simple as that.
Yeah, he's still hungry. He's still hungry to do well. He's shown this club a lot of loyalty, and the club have likewise shown Jimmy a lot of loyalty. So it's a perfect fit, you have to say, for both parties. And again, you've seen it today. He is hungry to score goals. He is hungry for this team to do well. And he's a leader, and not necessarily with the way he uses his tongue or his mouth on the pitch, but the way he plays football, his get up and get at them attitude, it's a great example to anybody who one wants to be a footballer, or two is playing in that Leicester City team.
Next up, obviously, Tony, is that Man City game on Saturday in the early kickoff. So for Leicester to make it 4 clean sheets in a row, that'll be some effort to stop Man City and to stop Haaland in particular.
Well, yeah, where do you start, Dan? And you mentioned Haaland. I'm a massive fan. Quite obviously, he's simply, at the moment, one of the best goal scorers we've seen ever in the Premier League. He's got to do it consistently. He's had a great start, obviously. But the problem you've got with City, as we know, is, all right, you stop Haaland, you've got Foden. You stop Foden, you've got Grealish. You stop Grealish, you've got De Bruyne. And the list, their squad is phenomenal. Was it Tags who said about the best team in Europe? I can't remember who he said. Yeah. I think it might have been Tags, and they are quite simply the best team. They've got to prove it by winning the Champions League, and that's the holy grail for them, obviously, going forward. But it's such a stunning squad of players. I love the way they play football. And, for a centre forward, it must be an absolute dream to play in that team. For someone like Haaland as a goal scorer to have all those chances being created for you, it must be an absolute pleasure every day just to go in training, turn up for a game and get 2-3 goals every week. It's incredible what he's doing. He's making it look very, very easy. And as we all know, goal scoring is very, very hard. So it's going to be a tough game, Dan. You can't dress it up any other way. I'm sure you'll speak about it through the week and obviously talk about it tomorrow night. It will be a really, really tough game. But it's a lovely bonus game now for Leicester, and they can go into the game full of confidence. And obviously, you don't want to get smashed 4 or 5-0. That's no good to anyone. But you can go into it with confidence, play your football, and really try and give them a game. And who knows, you know, even a point at home to Man City would be an incredible result. And, you know, Leicester are capable of doing that. They've got the players to do it. You just need a little bit of luck and fortune on the day. Maybe City have a slight off day. And then you never know, you've got a chance. But it's going to be a tough game, whatever way you look at it.
Yeah, and it'll be the first game, Matt, in a while, really, that the Leicester will go into it not in the bottom three as well, which will be a nice little bonus for all of us.
Yeah, it will do. I hope they don't end up back in it afterwards. But enough of that negativity. Another clean sheet would be nice. If they can make it 5 out of 6, that would give themselves a real chance. But long odds on that, I know. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? I don't think Leicester are going to be shouting the odds anytime soon. But they'll be quietly, very quietly confident. Perhaps they can pull something off, because that's the level that they have performed at before. Pretty much with these players, as we mentioned previously. You know, they've gone and caused a few shocks, haven't they? And in particular against Man City. They'll be hoping very, very quietly that they can produce another one next weekend. But it'll be some spectacle, that's for sure, isn't it? You know, Man City coming to the King Power, Erling Haaland, etc. Big occasion, a different test to today, but one Leicester have got to prepare themselves for.
We've got about a minute left, Jerry, so I think it would be remiss of us not to mention Danny Ward. 4 clean sheets out of 5, 3 in a row. He made a brilliant save in the first half from Daniel Podence on his left foot, which that was at 2-0, 2-1. Could have been a different game.
Absolutely. I know how it didn't end up being 2-2 at half time. The Lord only knows, but definitely that save from Danny Ward went some way to making sure that the deadlock wasn't broken for Wolves. And again, if you look at Danny Ward from the Forest game forward, he's grown in confidence every game, and today you've seen that again with that spectacular save that he's made.
It was.
And he's coming off his line, he's catching, he's got safe hands. His all-round game is improving. He's grown in confidence, and that's just the end product of that confidence shining through, is in making a save like that, being able to make a save like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's hope he can make it 4 clean sheets in a row, of course, on Saturday. We'll have plenty more chat about this Wolves win on Extra Time tomorrow evening from 6 p.m, so do join us for that. But for now, thanks to Matt Elliott, to Jerry Taggart and to Tony Costi for their company this afternoon, where Leicester City made it 2 wins in 2 clean sheets in 2, 6 goals out of the bottom 3. It's been a pretty good Sunday afternoon.